Hi, it's Jill with the Hip Kit Club, and today I am making a layout that focuses on these beautiful floral dies and also the Distress Oxides that are available in the August collection. The Distress Oxides are part of the color kit, and then you've got these beautiful floral dies that make creating a layout so much fun. So I want to show you a lot of different techniques in this video that use the Distress Oxides because they are magical. I love using Distress Oxide. I'm starting here with the saltwater taffy, and I'm just using a standard white piece of cardstock. If you use watercolor paper, you can get this to go even further and go even smoother, but what I'm trying to accomplish here is just putting down a good wash of color. If you're wanting it to blend really well, it does that on its own, but also watercolor paper will help that go even smoother. But what I'm trying to accomplish here works just great with your standard white cardstock. So I'm blending a lot of this paper. I'm just trying to put color coverage down, and I'm going to just fill a big chunk of the paper with the saltwater taffy. And then I'm going to come in and use that squeezed lemonade. It is such a pretty yellow color. So you've got this corally taffy color and then the beautiful yellow. And what I love about using Distress Oxides is that they blend so beautifully together and they can create more color. So you can see here, as I put that squeezed lemonade over the saltwater taffy, I'm getting an even more like orangey yellow that's going to fill in that middle space. And again, I'm just going for coverage here because I'm creating my own paper, and it's going to have a lot of distressing and a lot of different elements that go into this. And so right now, the goal isn't for a perfect blend, which you absolutely can accomplish with these inks. The goal is just to get a lot of color down, and it's good that it's a little splotchy, and it's good that it's got a lot of different variation because that's what I'm going for here. So I'm just layering those so that I have kind of 3 tones of color. Then I'm taking a little spray bottle with water in it and just lightly spritzing, and leave it for just a second, and the longer it's there, the more of that color it pulls up. Then I just blot it with a paper towel, and it gives you just a really soft speckled effect. Then I come in with a water brush and put bigger droplets down, and you can see that when I leave that for just a second and then blot it up, it's removing that color. It's taking away the Distress Oxide color. So now I'm going back in and I'm putting the ink directly onto an all-purpose mat, and then I can use that like watercolor. I'm picking it up with a water brush and adding it in little flecks and speckles to the paper. So I'm mixing those colors, the 2 colors, so that you're getting a little bit of that speckled effect and doing it. So now I've used the Distress Oxides for a base color, and now I'm using it as a watercolor. So there are just so many fun things you can do with it. So now I'm going to go in and I'm grabbing some of that color and a piece of the packaging, just the plastic that some of these embellishments and things come in the kit, and I'm crumpling that up so that I can use it to add texture to that background. So then the second time I'm using the packaging, I'm coming in and I'm laying it flat so that it transfers some of that color into different variations and giving me even more just kind of splattered, fun, mixed media looks to that. So using the packaging 2 ways and using that ink in another way. So then I just grab a little bit of my gold watercolor paint. This is just something I have on hand because I want just a little bit of that shimmer. And so speckling some gold, you could do this with anything that you might have, and some of that pearl color. That's just giving me a little bit of shimmer. So now I've got a really fun base that now I'm going to cut those die cut flowers out of. So this is going to give those flowers so much variety and so much tone and color and some texture and really interesting details. Even with some of these really tiny flowers, you can see that they just add so much to the realistic look of the flowers. So now I'm just deciding what paper I want to use on this layout. So you can see I've just kind of chosen a few that kind of pull in the colors of those 2 Distress Oxides. And then I had two of those branding strips that I thought might also work. So I've cut myself some strips that are just a variety of sizes. And then I like to just use my fingernail to kind of rough up that edge. It gives it a little texture and a little distressing, but not the same amount as tearing it might. And so I've placed all those pieces down, and then I'm doing the same distressing to my photo mat so that it has just a little bit of texture there. So now I'm going to work on that white space background. So I'm taking those Distress Oxides and this time putting them directly onto that plastic packaging. I'm getting it wet, and then you can add it to the paper and you can kind of move it around. This one I kind of let stick and didn't have quite as much water. It'll move a little bit more, but that's fine because most of my photo's covering that up. So now I'm going to do it again and spread it around just a little bit more. And you can also use it as a palette and paint in. So I'm basically trying to create a really nice watercolor wash effect to the background that will poke out from under my photo. So there's lots of different ways to accomplish that. The packaging works great for moving the ink and the product around on the paper. And I'm also filling in some of those blanks. I'd given myself a pencil line so I knew exactly where I needed to fill in. So now I can just flip that plastic over, blot it around, slide it around, and you're able to get a lot of that wash and that kind of splattery feel. So just putting the picture in place and feeling like there's still a few places I want to fill in with a little more color. And so I just do that with the water brush and ink off to the side. So I love using the Distress Oxides to create these fun variations of pattern. So there you can see how much you can move that around. And again, this is just standard white cardstock. So even on watercolor paper, it would move even more. So now I'm bringing in all of those beautiful flowers I was able to cut from the die cuts and just creating some fun clusters in the top left and the bottom right corner of my photo. And you can see that some of the flowers have that really nice peachy pink feel, and some have a little bit of the orangey yellow feel, and it just makes them feel like you would find flowers in nature that have all the different tones and variety. And it makes them kind of pop off of one another as you layer them. So I did a lot of those floral centers as yellow, but again, they have the speckles, they've got that texture. And then I'm filling in with the green leaves on the cardstock there. So I love this die cut because it has so many different varieties of floral shapes, sizes, and then a variety of the leaves too, which really kind of help pull it all together. So I've got the majority of those flowers and leaves tacked down where I want them. And now I'm going in and just filling in with a few of the other die cut pieces. And then I'm going to start mixing in some other things for a little more variety and texture. So I come into... first I'm gluing on a few of the little dots. There were some floral centers, and basically I saved everything that came out of the dies and looked for ways to use them. So those are just little die cut dots. You could use a marker or any kind of gem, but they were already cut from the leaves, and so I'm filling them in and using them as little scattered dots on the page. From there, I'm grabbing this sticker sheet, and I love these clear stickers, but I thought it'd be fun to mat it on some of that extra space on my watercolored cardstocks. And so I am just trimming around that clear sticker so that the background of it has that beautiful blend on it as well. And so then I'm going to just use that. The best is yet to come. This is a photo of my daughter from her graduation photo shoot, so that title felt really appropriate. And I put it in one of these little frames that's in the die cut pieces, the chipboard die cuts. Then I'm just layering in some of these different sentiments and things from the die cut pack and adding some of that linear look with the word strips, which I feel like helps balance out everything that's running vertically the other direction. So I'm committing to that title and just trimming off that chipboard so that it fits the frame just right. And I did notice that that kind of brought in a little bit of that kind of turquoise blue color, which I love, but that's the only place it's shown up here so far. So I do notice I'm going to need to bring in a little bit more of that to make it purposeful. But as for now, we're kind of sticking with those peaches, the yellows, coral, and that beautiful green. So I've got the sentiments on, and then I have these cute butterflies that are in the embellishments as well. So the butterflies are just getting scattered. I put a little foam dot on them, and it's always a fun challenge to figure out which direction the butterflies should go and how they will add a little variety. and balance to the page, but obviously I'm putting them in a visual triangle. So I've got one at the top, the right, and the bottom left. I look at these little wax seal stickers, but I don't think they fit as much as I love them and want to use them. And I'm coming back to the stickers, and there are some black clear stickers that have little vines and branches on them, and so I'm working some of those in, which brings in a little bit of black, which feels to kind of ground things, and it just kind of adds another layer of texture to those floral clusters. So a few of those stickers in black, and then I go back into the stickers to find another little word strip, and then some of these beautiful pearl gems that are in the collection this month as well. They've got like a colorful pearl shine to them, and so I've scattered those into the clusters as well. And then I took just a gold pen I had on hand and just tapped into the center. So I did those gold splatters with the paint, and I thought it would be nice to add that little detail to the center of the flowers. I'm adding my journaling, just drew myself a few quick journaling lines and adding a little note here. And then this is where I start looking at it and realizing I need more turquoise because it shows up there once. So there were some fun leaves, again in that clear sticker pack, that are in that turquoise color. And then I've got some of the turquoise butterflies, and that really helps to bring that in. You can see I'm kind of noticing that now I've got that nice balance, and I think that that finishes it off beautifully and helps to really showcase all the possibilities with the Distress Oxide inks as well as these really fun floral dyes. Be sure to subscribe to the Hip Kit Club channel on YouTube and ring that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. Be sure to visit hipkitclub.net so that you can see all that is available in this August collection.